If you are managing diabetes or even prediabetes, I need you to visualize something terrifying but true. Imagine your body is a construction site where you are trying to build a strong, resilient building. You have the workers, that's your insulin. You have the blueprints, that's your DNA. But every night, someone comes in and steals the bricks, the mortar, and the steel beams. You keep trying to build, but the materials just aren't there. You have been told to watch your sugar. You've been told to take your metformin, but nobody told you that the very condition you are fighting and the very medications you are taking are actively robbing you of the raw materials required to keep your body alive. I am Olha Kozyk. In my practice, I don't just look at your A1C number. That number is history. It tells me what happened 3 months ago. I look at your metabolic future. I look at the cost your body is paying to keep that number down. And I have seen too many patients who are controlled on paper. Their doctor says they are doing fine, but they are falling apart physically. Their nerves are dying, their eyes are failing, and their energy is non-existent. Why? Because they are starving at a cellular level. Today, we are going to stop the theft. We are going to discuss the 3 specific vitamins that your body is desperate for right now. These are not just supplements. For a diabetic, these are survival tools. And if you don't understand the specific chemistry of how to take them, you might as well be swallowing dust. Let's start with the first victim of the metabolic crime, vitamin B6. If you are taking metformin or if you are on blood pressure medication, listen to me closely. You are likely deficient in B6 right now. Here's the dirty secret of diabetes management. Your kidneys are working overtime. They are constantly hyperfiltering your blood to flush out excess glucose. It is a survival mechanism, but your kidneys are not smart enough to separate the sugar from the water-soluble vitamins. So, along with the sugar, you're flushing out your B6. You are literally peeing away your nerve protection. When you lack B6, your body cannot maintain the myelin sheath. That is the insulation around your nerves. Imagine a live electrical wire with the rubber coating stripped off. That is what is happening in your feet when you feel that burning, that tingling, or that strange numbness. That is not just neuropathy, that is a scream for B6. But here's the critical mistake most people make. They go to the store and buy a generic B complex. They take it and nothing happens. Why? Because the standard form of B6, Pyridoxine, needs to be converted by your liver to be useful. But a diabetic liver is already stressed. It's busy dealing with inflammation and glucose. It cannot do the conversion efficiently. In my clinical practice, I don't use standard B6. I recommend P5P. That's pyridoxal 5-phosphate. It's the active, ready-to-use form of B6. It doesn't ask your liver for permission. It goes straight to the nerves and starts the repair process. This one tweak can change everything. Now, let's talk about the second missing nutrient. This is your body's primary shield against biological rust. It is vitamin E. Diabetes is, at its core, a state of chronic oxidation. High sugar in the blood acts like sandpaper on the inside of your arteries. It scrapes and damages the lining, creating inflammation. Vitamin E is the firefighter. It puts out the fire. It stops the oxidation. But there is a massive trap here. Vitamin E is fat-soluble. It needs fat to be absorbed. Yet, what have diabetics been told for the last 40 years? Eat a low-fat diet. Lose weight. When I analyze nutrition logs, I often see people eating dry salads, steamed vegetables, and lean protein trying to be healthy. But without healthy fats, without avocados, without nuts, without olive oil, you cannot absorb vitamin E. You are putting the firefighter in a room with no door. It cannot get to the fire. Furthermore, you have to be a detective with vitamin E. Most cheap vitamins use a synthetic form called DL-alpha tocopherol. Notice the L. That stands for laboratory. It is synthetic. Your body treats it like plastic. You need D-alpha tocopherol, the natural form. It is the difference between eating a plastic apple and a real apple. Focus on whole food sources like sunflower seeds and almonds, and if you supplement, use mixed tocopherols that mimic nature. Finally, we arrive at the most fascinating and tragic biochemical war happening in your body, the war between glucose and vitamin C. This is something very few doctors have time to explain, but you need to know it. If you look at a molecule of glucose and a molecule of vitamin C under a microscope, they look almost identical. They're structural twins, and because they look alike, they compete for the exact same doors to get into your cells. These doors are called GLUT receptors. Here is the problem. In a diabetic body, there is way more sugar than vitamin C, so when the cell opens its door, the sugar bullies its way in and blocks the vitamin C. You could be drinking orange juice or taking a supplement, but if your blood sugar is 200, that vitamin C is locked out. It stays in your blood and gets flushed out. This is why diabetics have slow wound healing. This is why your gums bleed. Your cells are experiencing localized scurvy because they're stuffed with sugar instead of vitamin C. So what do? We don't just take vitamin C randomly, we time it. We take it when blood sugar is at its lowest, or we use liposomal vitamin C. This is vitamin C wrapped in a tiny fat bubble. It doesn't use the sugar doors. It slips through the cell wall like a ghost, bypassing the glucose blockade entirely. This is the level of detail you need to protect your future. Standard advice is general. Your health is specific. If you are just guessing with supplements, you are wasting money and losing time. I want you to think about your independence. I want you to think about walking without pain, seeing clearly, and keeping your kidneys functioning. These things don't happen by accident. They happen by design. If you are ready to build a strategy that is as unique as your fingerprint, I invite you to visit my website. I have opened up a new calendar for private consultations where we can look at your blood work and your medication list to predict exactly which nutrients you are losing. On my website, I also have a deep dive article called The Diabetic Nutrient Checklist. It lists the food sources, like the specific amount of chickpeas or sunflower seeds you need daily to start reversing these deficiencies naturally. Do not accept the decline. Do not accept that getting worse is inevitable. Your body is resilient, but it needs the bricks and mortar to rebuild. Let's give it what it needs. I'm Olha Kozyk. Check the link below and let's start building a stronger body today.